Morning, young sir. So here we are again as Scam Rangers, doing what we can to enable people to be safer online. But, I mean, that opens a nice question in itself. Who needs to be safer online? And that, well, I mean, the topical thing is, last week was St. George's Day, April 23rd, Shakespeare's birthday, also the day he died. Who wants to die on their birthday? That's sad luck. But and also just before that was St. Patrick's Day, of course. So UK and Ireland, very closely linked. But yeah, so what does St. Patrick and St. George have to do about digital safety?
Yeah, absolutely, all sorts, mate. You know what I mean? They were massive figureheads, which have obviously been remembered generationally for hundreds of years. You know, in the cultures, and what we're wanting to do is change the cultures. You know, digital culture, super new when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, St. George drove out the dragons, St. Patrick drove out the snakes. They were both pervading threats, and there is no threat as significant for the modern society than the digital threat.
Absolutely.
Everybody's online.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to be aware, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Digital crusade.
We need to get on a digital crusade.
Absolutely. Without the crudeness or religious implications of the word crusade, this is more the battle against cybercrime.
It is. It absolutely is. And, you know, veterans among us, all good. But you don't need to be a soldier to be part of this battle. You know, everybody needs to get involved. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. But then that leads on to, it's not just everybody that needs to be involved, but who actually needs to be aware.
When we talk about battle, a digital safety fight, it's not about picking up a weapon. Awareness is your weapon. So who needs to be aware? Like you said, every individual, every parent,
Yep.
because parents are guiding the next generation. Every employee, and then every small medium business. Everyone needs to be aware, but for slightly different reasons.
Yeah, definitely. The needs and online use of an individual or a child are going to be completely different to a small business. Yeah. All right. The risks that could be associated to a kid, say, teenager online, you know, they might follow a link that takes them somewhere they shouldn't be going, see things that they shouldn't be going, seeing even. But then the risks to small business, those links might not take them to somewhere, they might hack. You know, I've got a big issue at the minute. One of the local businesses nearby contacted me last week before. They've got their website had been taken down by the host because of a suspicious report. When I went into the back end of the website, the C panel, and started looking through their folder structure, it was very clear that there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't recognise. You know, and I'm on the back end C panel websites all the time. Loads of files, loads of folders that just raise that big question mark. So I did a bit more digging, and it turned out that this little local camping website had been hacked, email accounts created, and everything was redirected to a fake UK government immigration website. So people going onto this website were essentially submitting their personal details. Immigration, you're going to have passport numbers, the lot, full contact details, and that's what it was designed to do. Complete a full, really hardcore phishing scam to get those information, those person's information details.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, in your role as Reedy's web designs and your technical knowledge, you have the benefit of being able to understand the technical aspects of threats.
Yeah.
But this is an aspect that people need to actually understand. You don't need to be technical to be safe.
No.
You know, I mean, you were looking at it from a very technical perspective, looking into the website build and understanding what the back end of the website did.
Yeah.
That's not what people see.
No.
People see a genuine link, a genuine button on the website, and they think it's okay.
Yeah.
So you've got to do a lot more due diligence, and that's part of that whole awareness.
Absolutely.
And you don't need to be technical. No. I mean, that's the big thing from my perspective.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to promote, because I deal with clients of all ages, right up to their 80s and 90s, and they have zero IT knowledge. So the one site I manage, their managers and owners of the society, they've got zero knowledge. They've been scammed twice, so they're on tenterhooks. You know, anything that comes in, they're like, ah! But I told them, you know, if you're not sure on something, don't press anything, don't click any links ever. You know, and if you're not sure, give me a shout, send it to me or whatever. I had one Sunday yesterday. Email from the owner: is this genuine or a scam? And it was a very quick check. You know, it was from a Chinese domain, basically saying somebody's trying to register the same domain name as my client's business, but with .ch or something at the end.
Yeah.
And basically what they were trying to do was, if my client had responded, they would have been like, oh, well, why don't you protect these for X amount of pounds? Or, in order to stop us doing this, we need to charge you, or give me some details of what the actual stuff is. And straight away I was like, mate, delete it, report it fraud, spam, don't touch anything.
Yeah, I mean, I had that reach out last year, and I didn't do it. I mean, with my mother-in-law, for example, even my wife, you know, everyone's been scammed before.
Yep.
I have no issues. They'll ring me up at like 6 o'clock at night and say, can you just check this? And I mean, from my perspective, that's two aspects. You've got the security awareness, but the second aspect is the security habits. And if they make it a habit, if they ring me, or if your contacts ring you when they're not sure, I know from my perspective, I welcome it.
Yep.
I would rather they ring me
100%.
and double check. I'm more than happy.
100%. It's like with the campsite website, I'm now seeing the effect, and I'm going to fix the effect for them. What I don't know is what the cause was. What had she clicked or installed or done that allowed that vulnerability.
Yeah, and it's very hard to narrow that down
Yeah,
because it could be a really innocent action,
could be.
And I mean, we talk about threats online. You talk about parents, talk about individuals. Half the time, they don't even see the threat,
Nope.
and they don't need to be online either. I mean, obviously, a common one for individuals is the car park scam,
Yeah.
QR code. Now, I will not scan the QR code,
Yep.
and that's my security habit
Yep.
because I'm aware of the threat.
Yep. We had exactly the same thing when I was in the Navy. So I was part of a team that promotes digital transformation and innovation. And one of the systems that I was trying to bring in was like a pegging in board, so whereabouts board, but digital. And you would essentially scan a QR code within the establishment to then say, yeah, I'm in, I'm out, I'm at the dentist, I'm at the gym, something like that. Now, that was super secure because the QR code was generated within the MOD environment. Yeah. And the scam inside of QR codes is where somebody puts another QR code over the top of yours, which then sends them to another site. The chances of somebody doing that on an armed, secured base
You would hope.
are pretty slim. Never completely not, but they're pretty slim. Especially seeing as, you know what the MOD's like, they laminate everything. The chances of you being able to, circumnavigate that are pretty slim. And because of the whole paranoia over QR codes and the lack of understanding of how they can be extorted, the MOD went, nah, not interested. So
yeah, I mean, QR codes are so easy.
Yep.
I saw a video a couple of months ago, and someone was in the shop, and they distracted the assistant, shall I say?
Yep.
And while the assistant was distracted, they took their own QR code and pasted it on the shop's QR code. So again, as you say, doing that in a military establishment would be challenging, but these people actually worked it out that they did it in the shop, and because it's on the shop's counter, it gives it a certain amount of validity, and that gives it the credibility.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And you see them all the time in the shops, don't you? And the car parks was
absolutely.
the bigger one down here in Cornwall, because they were trying to digitise a lot of the how you pay for your car parking, and people were going around putting QR codes over the top of the car over the codes. One of my kids' friends' dads has done one of these projects, which has taken on like a good 100 car parks in Southwest, and I raised it with him. And basically, the only way that they can do it is daily goes around all of these car parks in Cornwall and make sure that the stickers are there, and they would get early indicators, because like peak times where people are coming to park up, if they're not receiving the money that they're expecting to receive from the payments, it flags up as a red flag.
Okay.
And then they go there and fix it, but it's still essentially, a good couple of hundred sheets down by the time it's been fixed.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously spoken a lot about QR codes. I'm that bad. In my house, if you want to add a new app to your Sky package, for example,
Yep.
it tells you to scan the QR code, and I won't even do that. I go on the website.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. You see them on the telly, don't you? But the chances of them being scams are pretty slim. But that awareness is the right awareness, really. You know, that not so much paranoia, but is there any point in scanning it if you don't need to? And I'll come on to the next piece, actually. What scam awareness means.
It's really understanding there is a threat, first and foremost. It's like, what does the threat look like? What threat might be applicable to you? Now, I know Scamarillo is an excellent website. And basically, if you go on Scamarillo, and you can say whether you're an individual or a parent, and it'll tell you what threats there are to you. Like I said, as an individual, you know, the mum and dad scam. Mum and dad scam has been going on for absolutely ages, and people are still falling victim to it. And it's becoming harder now because of AI. But people need to understand the basic first.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, parents. How many parents have heard of Huggy Wuggy?
Yeah.
Or Chromie?
Yeah. Fair one.
Know, and the amount of children that have actually lost their lives for these threats.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's and that's, we're not just talking about losing your credibility, having your reputation impacted, losing some money. These are actually life-threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there? Jesus, you could go on all day. You mentioned ransomware.
Evolving.
Absolutely.
So what we need is, you know, that SASS. You know, what is...
I do like SASS.
Yeah,
Everyone's
SASS
got street SASS.
What is Cyber-SASS?
Street SASS to Cyber-SASS.
Yep.
What is it? Suspicion.
Yep.
You know, being suspicious of online approaches. Being suspicious of websites you've never visited before. Being suspicious of phone numbers you don't know. You know, these are basic activities, but if you put that suspicion in place, straight away, you're starting to become cyber safe.
I think a lot of problem with that is people generally, unless they've been bitten, they don't necessarily hold that suspicion.
Well, this is very true. But in all honesty, one of the main mantras I live by is prevention is the best cure. And as many times as we talk about it, if one person listens to this today and they start to build that suspicion,
yep,
then I know from my perspective, this is absolutely time not wasted. It's always a pleasure to speak to you anyway about this.
Always.
But,
I like our catch-ups.
You know, so, yeah, embedding that suspicion first and foremost. I mean, Cyber-SASS, awareness. Absolutely, go to Scamarillo. You showed Scamarillo.
Yep.
You know, the internet is the Wild West. Get on the road to Scamarillo and become safer online.
To Scamarillo.
So what? Cyber-SASS. We've done suspicion. We've done awareness. Let's talk about skepticism.
Yep.
What does that really mean? In all honesty, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Probably is. Yeah.
Everyone's heard about the Nigerian prince.
If it you think it's too good to be true, suspect it. You know, be clever, be aware, do your due diligence. Diligence. You know, investigate a bit deeper. Look at the URLs.
Absolutely.
If a link is not pointing to the domain that you're expecting, or there's loads of random gobbledygook numbers and letters in there, big question mark.
Yeah, well, I mean, the common one that most people associate this with, and they don't even realise it, is that whole Nigerian prince thing. Hey, I've got €500 million. if you send me £5,000,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you, and yeah, you keep that as credit. Okay,
How about no?
that would seem like a good investment.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
definitely.
really,
I mean, I mean, I think I spoke about it last time. I got bit by something like that, but it was more, you know, here's a NHS booklet that's going to go out to thousands of NHS establishments around the UK. Would you like to advertise in it? Yeah. You know, a few £100 down, scammed. Threaders. So
yeah,
I'm now in that. Since then, you know, pre to that, naive. You know, I'd spent 25 years in the Navy where you're protected by a lot of these things. To then come out, start up my own business, didn't have a clue. Now I'm in that suspicion bracket for everything. You know, I get them all the time. You know, inbox, messenger chats, you know. This is what we can do for you. How about no? I just ignore them, delete them. You know, if I want a service, I'll go find it.
absolutely. In all honesty, a lot of the time I sit down with my wife, and my wife's getting quite good at this now, and she's getting really good in that she's actually looking at what she's identifying as scams and really understanding how they can impact people, and we have that discussion.
Yeah.
And it's really, really awesome because she's never done any security.
No, but you're
It's
breeding
really
that
awesome
awareness.
how that awareness, from her perspective,
Yep.
has developed.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely.
She's like my deputy from a scam ranger's perspective.
Right.
So yeah, the last test in Cyber-SASS, sensibility. What does that look like? I mean, I always pick up on think twice, click once.
Yeah. If you fall into any of the other three, don't click. Find somebody who might know, like us. Reach out. Can this be? Can you give me some advice? Always.
And always, in that think twice, take a minute.
Yep.
If you're not sure, go away, have a cup of tea,
Yep.
think about it.
Dwell a
Then
pause
go
of
back.
2 marching paces.
And look at it. Yeah. So you mentioned ransomware, social engineering. One of the big things about social engineering is it will always try to instill a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
It will make you think you need to do this right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It will try to make you panic.
Yep. And that's what happened with that email that came through. And that was the intent. And I had one, same people. They were, I think I spoke about this in the last podcast. Emails were being sent basically under their name, but like not. So the URL for the web, the email address ended in their name, but wasn't. And it was basically the email was going out to all of the area managers for their society saying, I've got a sore throat, I can't talk right now. We're trying to get a leave-in gift for somebody. Can you go and buy these Amazon vouchers? Send them to me and then we'll reimburse you. Please don't call because I've got a really bad throat. And that's exactly what you're on about. Generating the urgency. You know, the person who was sending, would you know, the emails were coming from, is a lovely person, really nice, trusted, especially within that community. Everybody knows them. And a lot of people would have probably, in fact, I know that they did, genuinely bought those vouchers for them. And then obviously that was when these emails come back. Yeah, I've done it. Here you go. And she's like, "What are you doing?" Straight on the phone.
Yeah,
saying,
and
how can we stop this? So I ended up putting a post on their social media saying, scam, don't follow links, don't buy anything. You know, if anything was genuinely to come from the society, they would call you in person, or, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be from a random email asking you to do things. Because that's not what the society is about.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing about social engineering. It does that urgency. It also tries to play to exploit other human emotions,
Yep.
empathy.
Yep.
I mean, I remember doing a social engineering attack, a physical social engineering penetration test on a UK regulator.
Right.
You know, these were the people who guide everyone on how to be safe. Tape of babies crying in the background, got onto a female operator, and absolutely was able to manipulate her doing that. Now, for my part, I wasn't doing anything malicious, but it did highlight that security vulnerability.
Yeah.
How people could be manipulated.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I mean, you get that Cyber-SASS.
Yep.
What does that look like in the real world? It's like your own suit of armour.
Yeah.
It
Here we go.
really is.
What does scam awareness look like?
Going back to that digital crusade, you know, St. George, St. Patrick, that suit of armour.
Yep.
That is your defence. That is your protection.
What
Cyber-SASS.
elements of the protection should you reckon people should consider? Not just the SaaS side of things, but is there anything else like the systems that people should bring in, 2FA, things like that?
There absolutely is. I mean, there's a whole suite of tools, and they don't. Again, you don't need to be technical.
Nope.
You know, we look at 2FA. Second factor authentication is what that means. If you're going onto your bank, and a lot of banks force it now.
Yeah.
If you go onto your bank, you have to get a one-time code.
Yep.
And put it into your phone, and that validates that it's you, and you're using your mobile phone as your security token. So what it's doing is, because it's your mobile phone, it's in your possession, it's another means of communication, not on the email, but it's validated it's you.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, other basic things you can do. Your mobile phone, don't forget that's a computer.
Yep.
Updates. And what that basically means is the manufacturer updates the technical configuration of your phone to stop vulnerabilities. So on your mobile phone, on your laptop, enable automatic updates. Yeah. That's just a couple. I mean, obviously, we could go on all day.
Absolutely.
That's not the intent. I mean, the first and foremost, these technical things can be done to help you, but first and foremost, it's that Cyber-SASS.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring in the SaaS.
Join the digital crusades, get that Cyber-SASS today, get your own suit of armour on. And I mean, the whole thing about it is, go on to Cyber Guardian, go on to Scamarillo, understand what the threats look like. Go on to SurfSafer Online, do that free assessment, understand how likely you are to be exploited online.
Definitely. Let me bring up the SurfSafer Online now.
We've said 2FA, we've said auto updates. What technical things might you think?
From website perspective, as a business owner, make sure that your websites are well maintained. Yeah, plugins, themes. If it's a WordPress one, make sure that's all. Make sure everything is maintained and up to date, because this is where vulnerabilities lie. You know, outdated themes, outdated plugins. You know, they might not be immediately prevalent. I think this one with a campsite, the earliest weird file that I can see was from October last year. Now, I know that 6 weeks ago, the site was up and running and fine. Which means that could have been sat dormant, waiting for the right time.
Yeah. And I mean, from a business perspective, there are other things as well.
Yep.
Because obviously, if you do regular backups,
Yes.
you can restore.
Yep.
But that's not limited to business.
Nope.
Do that for your personal.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, back up your photos.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think
Especially
fortunately,
from
a lot of
ransomware
things now
protection.
are on the cloud. So physical backups are not necessarily needed as much. Because for me, all of my photos are on the cloud. You know, I don't need to keep any physical ones on my PC. And I use Google Drive for all client work.
Yeah.
Because if this GERT PC dies, I don't want to be losing anything.
No, absolutely. Everything I do is in the cloud. Everything I do is in the cloud. And it just makes life easier because that's another backup thing. And I mean, and again, something else people can do. If you've got a document that you need to make sure is backed up,
Yep,
email it to yourself.
definitely.
Send your email system into a cloud storage facility.
Yeah. And as long as you haven't got one of those accounts that removes things after 3 years or whatever it is, you know, it'll be there forever.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, email can be perfect. And look, the other thing people don't understand, as a rule, and it can be fairly straightforward, you can create what's called a compressed drop file, and there are loads of applications out there free to do it.
Yep.
And all you do is password protect it.
Yeah.
You own that password, so when it goes in the cloud can't read it anyway.
Yeah.
The cloud providers is what I should say.
Yeah, yeah.
So it gets encrypted and it's protected with your password. You own that password. You don't share it to the cloud provider. They can't see what's in that folder.
No. Just don't keep your password nearby.
Well, I was literally going to write it up on the wardrobe behind me so that everyone can see it.
Bank details, blah, blah, blah.
But people do that. You know, you've got to think about things like that as well.
Bring your SASS.
Yeah. Cyber-SASS, absolutely.
Definitely.
Awareness of what's in the background. You know, if I'm talking to you, my wife absolutely will not be on the phone to her bank.
Yeah.
Or she will not purchase something. Because imagine, I'm talking to you and in the background, there's my wife giving her card details.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Good shout. And let me just write those down.
Yeah. It's simple things that we don't think about.
No.
But get Cyber-SASS and start thinking about it.
Definitely. I think that's a good place to close off there. I think we've covered a lot then. Let's hit the closing screen. Do you want to say goodbye and then we'll hit the closing screen?
Well, look, as ever, it's always a pleasure chatting about this stuff.
And you, mate?
And, yeah. From my perspective, people need to get that Cyber-SASS, visit the websites. It's all free. Get that awareness.
Definitely.
Get safer online. And, hey, I'm backed by your technical expertise. Reedy's web designs, it makes all the difference for me. You know, for me, it's awesome.
Brilliant. Hopefully, well, we'll have another subject to do next time. In 2 weeks' time, maybe.
That's the joy with this. There is always a threat.
Always a threat out there. And the Scam Rangers can help defeat them. Cheers.